Hey everybody, and welcome to Let's Look at Jack Lumber. Jack Lumber is a reskinned version of Fruit Ninja, and it might seem like I mean that in a disparaging way, but it's just really an easy way to describe this. But it's reskinned as kind of a logging game. So we play as a lumberjack, and we're chopping logs. As you might expect, this is an iOS/mobile port. I'm not sure if it's on the Android. That has now made its way to Steam. I have some problems with it, namely the fact that it's $2 on iOS, but it is $7.50 on Steam. But this is from Alchemy Labs, the same guys who came out with Snuggle Truck, which I liked a lot, even though, you know, like this game, it was simplistic. I like Jack Lumber less, but at the same time, let's just get this out of the way. This is very much a casual game, and if you're the kind of person who's like, oh, PC Master Race, I only play Europa Universalis and StarCraft 2, then this is not going to be up your alley, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. I hope you'll get some entertainment out of this video regardless. But if you're okay with casual games, then let's get started, shall we? So we're in Jack Lumber's cabin right now. Basically, the premise of the story is that his grandmother has been killed, and I think Jack Lumber might have been tricked into killing her himself. I can't remember from the opening cutscene. Sorry, we have letters that tell us the story as well. But mostly I just kind of chill around in here, bouncing, playing keep-ups with these animals that we have discovered, basically through completing errands that our grandmother has left us posthumously. Now, let's just get started with the actual gameplay of the game so I can explain what's going on. And we'll start with one of the earlier levels here so you can get a feel for it. Again, I would like to express that essentially this is a riff off of Fruit Ninja. Is probably the easiest way to describe it. The sound assets, for whatever reason, sound really bad in that opening cutscene, but for the most part, otherwise, they sound totally okay. So the way that this is going to work is every time we get a wave, if you will, a toss of logs, we're going to click and swipe our mouse so that, you know, the mobile origins of this game are definitely fully on display. For better or for worse, this is a game that I absolutely have to imagine works a lot better on tablets than it does on the PC, just because, you know, it's more tactile and fun. You know, as much as I sometimes disparage casual games, I never do it seriously, like never to write off like the entire genre essentially. And I like Fruit Ninja. I've played Fruit Ninja. I like playing Fruit Ninja multiplayer now and then. It's a nice little, it's a break. You know, this game I would not necessarily say steals. Maybe it came out before it. I honestly don't know the mobile landscape that well. But it certainly takes liberally from it. And you know what? That's okay. You know, it's influenced by it, for better or for worse. Now, we did get a straight shot there. That gives us more points. So the crux of this is that we have to cut these logs lengthwise. So we have to split them right down the middle. We can't just cut them, like, brown to brown, if that makes sense. We have to split them, which is, I guess, what lumberjacks really do. I'm not sure if this game actually takes place in Canada, or if Jack Lumber himself is actually Canadian, but there are definitely some Canadianic references in here. I'm getting a little tired of the stereotype that all Canadians are lumberjacks, when the truth of the matter is that only 45% of the Canadian population works in the logging industry. You know, it's a little bit short-sighted if you ask me. We're gonna come through here, and by doing this, we don't want to chop up the animal. By not chopping up the animal, we will beat the level, and that is a new high score, I think, for me, so we'll see how we rank on the leaderboards here. So there's all these errands. These are basically just challenges. If you manage to get them, then every time you complete one of Granny's errands, you will get, I think, a financial bonus as well as another animal delivered to your house. But you might actually only get the animal delivered to your house. Wow, I'm in 10th place overall. That is kind of surprising. You might only get an animal delivered to your house, if you're your cabin, I should say, if you beat a level. Okay, so it's not actually based on errands. Now, with those logs that we earn, we can buy all these different kinds of syrups here, and what these do essentially is allow us to accomplish certain things. So the syrups allow us to recover from errors. The beards make the game harder. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So what's Father Time's beard? Father Time's challenge, where my beard in lumber time is cut in half. That seems really hard, but the reward is a higher score multiplier. Kind of interesting. Apparently these beards are stackable as well, according to the game's marketing. We could also buy some pictures here. Buckception, Jack Lumber, the lumberjack, the best looking lumberjack in town. Not really interested. Apparently we can buy hats as well. I'm not sure if these have any impact on us beyond being... I mean, I bet these were in-app purchases in the game as well, but you know, I shouldn't say that unless I have any kind of authority. But I don't really like buying these. Some of the syrups are useful, like honey syrup, which allows longer time freeze. We'll see some of those. Blue spruce syrup is actually useful as well because it allows us to redo a toss if we fuck one up, and it actually is harder than you might expect. As you can see, like on this level right here, I only got 1 star. Let's see if I can do a little bit better, because the game does ramp up in difficulty pretty fast. So after we do this level, I'll talk a little bit more about my kind of, again, meta impressions of the game, whether I enjoy it or don't enjoy it. Spoilers, I really have a problem with the fact that this game is $7.50 on Steam. It's only $5 for its opening week sale, or like $5.02. This is not the optimized way to do this. And believe me, I get this. I posted on Twitter, not a rant, but a little kind of anecdote. I'm like, I don't understand why these iOS games come out at $2 and then on Steam they're you know, 4 times more expensive, essentially. That is a time freeze log that allows us to freeze time for a little bit, as you might expect. That was actually a surprisingly good cut here. But yeah, I get why games are $2 on iOS or $1 on iOS, because otherwise, if they're higher, people won't pay for them and they won't, like, impulse buy them, essentially. And that's totally fine. Just release the fucking game for $3 on Steam, then. I've seen a number of Steam games come out at $3. I don't understand why this one should be $7.50, especially, again, because it's kind of not that intriguing of a concept. I guess the reason it's $7.50 is because they can, but in all honesty, it leaves a really bad taste in my mouth that this game is substantially more expensive than I feel it should be, given, you know, its price on iOS. I had the same problem with Another World, but it got a little bit of a pass from me because Another World is a fucking awesome game. This is very much a, I mean, Another World holds up well with the PC experience, and you can make the argument, you know, the visuals look better on, you know, a big screen or something like that. I mean, I don't think Jack Lumber necessarily gains anything from being on the PC. In fact, I think it sort of loses something from being on the PC, because you lose the, again, the tactile nature of swiping. Like, for example, I'm sure doing that, like those multiple swipe logs, I'm sure if you do those on the iOS or something, especially on an iPad, it probably feels substantially more satisfying than just, you know, wiggling your mouse back and forth. By getting that syrup last, that allowed us to, pardon me, stick all the, oh man, I fucked this up miserably. To stick all those logs in there, that's gonna ruin our score multiplier, but at the very least, we managed to recover a little bit from that. But yeah, the maple syrup allowed us to stick all those. Oh god, I clicked on the animal totally by accident and ruined the level. If you attack the animals that appear, you actually automatically lose the level. But I guess I got some rewards for it regardless. So we'd have to redo that level if I wanted to, but let's just move on. So that's my main problem with Jack Lumber. I have no problem with the fact that it seems heavily influenced, shall we say, by Fruit Ninja. That's A-okay with me. I have no problem with the fact that it's pretty shallow. I mean, like, as you can see, there's only 2 basically gameplay elements to the game. There's bouncing these animals around, which is fine, but if a little bit shallow, of course, and then there's, you know, chopping down logs here. But the fact that it's $7.50 for the right to play that experience seems real silly to me. And again, the assets, for whatever reason, like, look really bad blown up to 1920 by 1080 here. But by and large, I think Jack Lumber is totally fine game. Like, there's nothing offensively bad about it, except for the fact that I think it's really shitty that it costs so relative much. And I realize I'm harping on this point, and some people are going to be like, you know, it's like $5, just get over it. But especially considering I think that the mobile version is, oh my god, these like pants logs. The mobile version is probably a more satisfying experience. It's disappointing, at least, and a little bit offensive to me that the game would come out so expensive on Steam. I don't know what, maybe they have, I mean, I don't have any data to back up the fact that I feel offended by this. I can't believe I fucked that up. Like I said, you know, they might have great market research that tells them if you release it on $7.50, people are going to think the game is, you know, more legitimate, and they're going to be more likely to buy it. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but, you know, my guess is they probably know more than me, but on a personal level, I think it's a pretty shitty marketing choice. Just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But other people might feel differently. So, you know, we'll play a few more levels of Jack Lumber here. I'm having a reasonable amount of fun with it. You know, there is some... I did manage to cut it. Good. I'm having a reasonable amount of fun with it. There is a good sort of, not necessarily even a guilty pleasure, but it's a certain amount of pleasure in playing these, you know, pick up and play casual games that are easy to play and also, you know, fairly easy to be sort of okay at, even though I haven't necessarily proven that I'm... Oh, I fucked up the time one again. I haven't necessarily proven that I'm good at this, but I'm doing okay on the leaderboards, presumably because it just came out today, and not a lot of people have bought it. But in any case, let's do this. I should mention, of course, that the other thing that should be obvious by this point is that you can't do multiple swipes, you can only do one swipe. If you let go of the mouse button, you will instantly lose. So, again, those, I have to feel like those multiple swipe barrels feel more tactile on a touch screen. So this always marks the end of the level. These spinning logs are a total pain in the ass. Just don't hit as long as you don't hit the moose, we're gonna be fine. And you know what, maybe we'll just play one more level of Jack Lumber, because I'm not sure how much more value you're gonna get out of seeing me play this. Like, I don't think at this point there's gonna be any levels that are gonna, you know, come out of nowhere and all of a sudden I'm gonna be like, whoa, I'm mistaken, this game is absolutely worth $7.50. If you just beat, you know, 5 levels and all of a sudden the game becomes deeper than like Civilization 5 or something like that. So let's just do one more level and then we'll call it quits. Again, I have mixed impressions of this game. My main complaint about it, oh shit, I didn't know, I guess you have to cut the, there's a good variety of logs. I guess you have to cut the twine on that bundle to be able to access them. But overall, I'm very, very displeased with the fact that this game is kind of surprisingly expensive. We didn't get to get the last log or the time freeze one. That's the risk of cutting too early, unfortunately, on a wave of logs. But you don't want to cut too late, or you might have, you know, these things falling out of the frame, which is going to make them much more difficult to deal with. There are ways to up your score, by the way. You saw me get a straight shot once. That's when you're able to draw like one straight swipe through a bunch of logs, like this maybe, which might, that didn't work as well as I thought it would. There is obviously a more ideal path to take there, but I didn't notice it until a little bit later. But yeah, my main problem with Jack Lumber is probably pretty obvious by now. I don't think this is worth $7.50 by any stretch of the imagination. I think it's totally worth $3. This came out for $3. I would have no problem, you know, sitting here and saying, you know, if you're interested in what you see, if you like what you see, then go pick up Jack Lumber. It's a reasonable price. But the fact that it's $7.50 and there's so much other stuff that you could get in that price range that is probably going to give you more bang for your buck. I know I'm harping on it, but it honestly baffles me a little bit that this kind of marketing decision came to be. I guess it's because, you know, the iOS games are $2. We got to charge more for it on PC, so, you know, I guess there's nowhere to go but up. But man, in any case, I mean, the reason I'm harping on the price a lot is because beyond that, there's not that much to talk about when it comes to Jack Lumber, as you can probably imagine. I mean, we're cutting logs here with our mouse. It works fine. It controls well. There's no settings, which I should have talked about. Like, you can Alt-Enter to put it in windowed mode. But apart from that, you're basically stuck with the default stuff here. Even Alt-Enter doesn't let you adjust the resolution. It's just going to be a big window that covers like your entire monitor. I should double check that to make sure, but that is my experience so far when I was trying to run this in like 1280 by 720 windowed, which is how I do a lot of my recording. That there is no real settings menu, which again is like, you know, if you're porting from iOS, I get the animal again. I'm sorry, Mr. Hedgehog. I was too distracted by my talking. Let's go back to our cabin here. Again, just giving my final impressions here of Jack Lumber. Let's check out the main menu one last time just to see. So if I go to settings here, yeah, you can see I can adjust the music or I can adjust the sound effects, I guess. Or turn off the music or turn off the sound effects. But apart from that, no real options menu. That's a sore spot. Like if you're coming out on the PC from iOS, fucking give me a chance to, like, give me an options menu at least so I can play it in the most comfortable settings that I possibly can. But anyway, this is Jack Lumber. Gameplay-wise, no problems with it. Price-wise, I think it's way too fucking expensive, and it's made me very cynical about bringing mobile ports to the PC. Also, like, this is a little cheesy, right? This gift game option over here on the menu screen. Like, don't trick me into making more purchases of your game. Just make a good game, and I'll buy it, I'll play it, I'll talk about it. But, yeah, gameplay-wise, I really like Alchemy games. I like Snuggle Truck a lot. Jack Lumber plays fine. $7.50 is way too expensive, and a lot of this it's taken the parts of mobile gaming, not to shit on mobile gaming, that make me a little cynical or look down my nose at it sometimes, and it's transported them to a platform where I don't necessarily feel like those jive all that well. But in any case, it is what it is. If you like what you see, there will be a link in the video description to pick up the game on Steam. As always, thanks for everybody who watched this video, and I will see you next time.